I'm at the Storage Steel and Daily Deal, SS and DD and Murray. I'm gonna interview the man himself, Ken, the founder of this. This is a 14,000 square feet warehouse that have stuff from your bathroom, kitchen, you name it. They have a consignment session for local vendors, and they also have vendors throughout the warehouse selling the product. We're gonna interview him, get his story on how he ended up creating this. Today we are with Ken, one of the owner of SSNDD. What is the acronym for that again, Ken?
Storage Steals and Daily Deals.
So tell us your story. How did you end up creating this?
Sure. So it started, I was really tired of the work I was doing, and I said to my son, you can buy abandoned storage units. Should we give that a try? And he said, sure. So we went and bought a unit, and it cost us $10, and we found a lot of cool stuff in there. One thing led to another, and away we are. So we started with a Facebook group that we did auctions on, and we would just have whatever random stuff we found out of storage units, and they'd be up for a day, and people would bid whatever they wanted. We moved into a warehouse, and we decided we wanted to grow, so we started doing liquidations, which is what we do primarily now, meaning we buy big box liquidations. It's returns, it's overstock, out of season, box damage, and that's what we do primarily now. And so we moved from our garage to a small warehouse to the big warehouse that we're in now. It's been 8.5 years now that we've been doing this, and it's been a lot of fun going through all those changes.
That's crazy. That's a lot of progress.
Yeah.
This is the giant warehouse. What's the square footage?
Yeah, the square footage in this one is 14,000.
14,000.
So we moved from our garage. I don't know what the square footage is there. It's not much. It's a 2-car garage to a warehouse that I think was 2,500 square feet. And now we're in this one that's 14,000. So lots of growth.
Perfect. And I guess, how do you balance of getting the right inventory to here, because you buy in bulk, so you don't really necessarily know what is going to be in them, right?
So we buy manifested inventory, meaning we have a good idea. The manifest is never right, but it's generally right. And we have a lot of calculators that we use for it. So we've got a lot of history of doing it. We figured out what the average value for different categories is, and we've built calculators that make purchasing a lot easier. We know how long it's going to take us to sell a certain item, how much we can make on it, and all that stuff. And then it's just all part of the math. So we buy everything at auction, and we know what our limits are on auctions because we have such a good calculator.
And this is a complex operation, Ken. And do you have a background in this, or what is your previous work experience?
Yeah, so sort of. I started in IT. I spent my first 10 years doing computer repair for small businesses all over the valley. I went to work for a company and basically grew that company, helped grow that company from 20 to 200 employees, and my role there was kind of quite broad. It was over their computers, but it was also over like procurement, accounting, HR. I had a lot of roles there, which gave me broad experience and a deep understanding of how to run a business. That I've applied just a ton of things here. I also have a degree in MIS, Managerial Information Systems, and economics. So both of those things have helped quite a bit as well. And then with all that background, we actually made our own software to run the company, which has been critical. It's helped us a ton in terms of, again, going back to the calculators that we use and being able to run an efficient shop here, because you're right, it is complex. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of random inventory, and keeping all that data straight and making the best use of it is a big part of what we take advantage of.
And how many employees do you have now?
Well, right now we have about 5 employees, I think.
Perfect. And what is the goal for this building?
That is a good question. So the goal changes over time. Right now, we've actually had a couple of kind of rough years. The last year, we've started to recover. The whole economy kind of really crippled us for a little bit there. But we've seen a lot of signs of recovery over the last year. And so we're kind of just trying to get back to where we were. And then, I don't know, we'll see. At one point in time, we were hoping to move across the street. Somebody took that spot. I was looking at another lot. Somebody took that spot. So every time I look at a spot that I want to move us to, somebody beats us to it.
And
so,
you're moving because you run out of space, is that correct?
It's actually location.
Location.
So we're a little hidden back here. It makes it hard for people to find us. We really think that we would probably do 3 to 4 times the revenue if we were literally on the other side of the building, because people just don't know we're back here. They say location, location, location. It's right. Every dollar you don't spend on location, you're going to spend on marketing to make up for that, and you're going to have mixed results. So yeah, we've learned a lot of tough lessons over the years, but location is key. And our lease is up in a year here, so we got to do something within the next year, or renew the lease here. But ideally, we can find a more accessible spot for us.
I understand. That's it. That's good stuff. I love seeing small success, and that to me, that is the epitome of capitalism. You start in your garage, get a small 2,500 square feet. That's the American dream, and now you're 14,000 square feet, 5 employees.
Yeah,
that's like, whoa, it's happening. It's like in school where we learned that about, I guess, when I come to America, about businessmen. It's like, well, I guess that is it.
Yeah.
I guess let's switch topic. Because right now, this is almost once a month, you guys do a craft show inside the warehouse.
Correct.
And how did that come about itself?
Sure. So that was Ambria's brainchild.
And Ambria is your co-manager?
Yeah, exactly. She does a lot of things around here, but she's in charge of the markets and the consignment. She does a lot of other things as well. She does a ton of our marketing. But it was her idea. I actually don't know where she got the idea. She probably, just realized that we had a good space that we could host, and we just tried it. So it's been a year and a half since we had our first show. I don't know where we're at now. I've lost count. This is probably our 15th or so show. And we've learned a lot of things there too. We recently just rearranged our warehouse. If you've been coming to these, you would notice that the market is much better laid out now. We actually rearranged it for the inventory that we have, but it worked really nicely for the market as well. So yeah, her brainchild. She's done a ton to develop it. She's spent a lot of time figuring out how to get vendors, how to get customers for those vendors. We have a ton of repeat vendors. Yeah, lots of success. We don't charge very much because we're trying to. It's one of our ways that we try to give back to the community. So we're out there helping all these small businesses, trying to get them moving up the capitalism chain as well, if you will.
There you go. I'm one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I have a consignment thing right here still.
Yeah.
So I guess I know Andrea is the brain behind the operation. I will ask you those questions whether if you have an answer for them. How many vendors do we have right now? Like 50?
There's 40 something vendors out there.
Vendors?
Yeah, 43 or something like that. Plus a couple of food trucks outside.
Yeah. And when you guys are picking vendors, like selecting them, is there any criteria you guys look for?
Yeah, so that's probably a better question for Ambria, but absolutely. So the biggest thing is that we don't want a lot of duplicate vendors. So we don't want a lot of people trying to sell the same item and competing against each other in the market, if you will. So that is part of our criteria. There are some other minor selections. In general, it's supposed to be a maker's market, so we are much more interested in people that are actually making something instead of like just reselling something, if you will. But yeah, Ambria would be the better one. She's the one that actually does all the applications and has the criteria figured out.
Perfect, because that's one thing I like about this market. And because some of the market I go to, you see people selling stuff they get from Alibaba, Temu. Yeah. It's like, it's fine, but it is a craft show.
Yeah.
I don't think it is appropriate for people to just wholesaling those items.
Exactly.
With this market, because you have better control of sourcing them, you can push those people out, not admitting them. And focus on craft people.
Exactly.
So I really like that about this craft show. And I know you guys have a consignment. Recently, you guys began to do the consignment stuff. How is that going?
I think it's going pretty well. We've been growing that, I think, since May or June or something like that is when we first started doing that. We've got, I forgot how many vendors. I just asked Ambria, but that number has grown quite a bit, the number of vendors doing consignment. And I know through November and December, those numbers were pretty good for the consignment sales. I was actually just looking at the last 2 weeks, and it's actually... January is going to be a really good month for a lot of our consignment vendors too, which is kind of surprising because January is usually a slower month.
Yeah, Christmas just happened. People
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
money.
But people are still going crazy over the consignment there, and we're looking to continue to grow that.
That's good. I know, you said last year wasn't too good. Do you feel like, I mean, you're a thrift store. I mean, kind of thrift store. You sell, your item are below the average of someone were to go to the,
Absolutely.
yeah. Do you feel with the recession, if you want to call it recession, do you think that impact people coming to your stores of going to Walmart, or do you feel like...
Yeah, so I think for a lot of our core customers, it just meant that they really couldn't spend virtually any extra money, right? All their money had to go to food and rent. And so a lot of our core customers were hit the hardest with the recession. Fortunately, we are seeing a return with a lot of them over the last year, but in general, that's what I've noticed is a lot of our core customers just couldn't afford to even come in and browse.
Because the cost of living is so high,
Yeah.
food is so high that any extra was just they cannot afford it. Wow, thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
Where can people? What is your website? What is your address?
Sure. Our address is 6046 South State Street. We're directly behind Goodwill, so as I mentioned, we are a little hidden. Look for the Storage Steals and Daily Deals signs. They are on the ground, but you'll drive around and see them. Drive around back. Our website is ssndd.com, and the vast majority of our inventory is on there, available for purchase. You can mark it for local pickup, so you don't have to pay shipping. And yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.